My wife once laughed in my face and said, "You'll never leave me, and even if you did, I'd make your life hell in court." She said it with smugness, with unshakable confidence, as if daring me to try. I didn't argue. I just smiled. But behind that smile was the beginning of the end. Within months, I emptied my accounts, packed a single bag, and vanished without leaving a trace. For 10 years, I was married to Victoria. To outsiders, we looked like the golden couple, picturesque smiles at charity galas, hand in hand on vacations, the image of success and stability. But the truth behind closed doors was far darker. Victoria was cruel in the kind of way that left scars you couldn't see. She chipped away at me slowly, mocking my job, belittling my modest upbringing, making cutting jokes about my thinning hair in front of friends. She never missed a chance to remind me that she came from old money, while I was just the working-class boy who stumbled into her world. Even our finances reflected the imbalance. My entire salary went straight into our shared account, an account she controlled, to fund her designer wardrobe, her weekend shopping sprees, and her endless luxury lifestyle. Meanwhile, the profits from her boutique business went into her personal account. Untouchable. Sacred. I paid for our life while she lived it. For years, I convinced myself this was simply her way, that I was being patient, that maybe it was love. But the truth was, I had become nothing more than an accessory she wore when it suited her image. One night, during one of our suffocatingly silent dinners, I finally spoke. I mentioned moving somewhere quieter, somewhere we could start fresh. She didn't even bother to look up from her phone. Instead, she let out a sharp, mocking laugh. "Oh, sweetie," she said, scrolling, her voice dripping with disdain. "You'll never leave me." Then she finally looked up, her smirk cutting like glass. "And even if you tried, I'd make your life hell in court. My father's lawyers would strip you bare. You'd be lucky to leave with the clothes on your back. You need me." That moment was the shift. It wasn't rage that filled me, it was clarity. I saw, for the first time without illusion, what I truly was to her. Not a partner, not a husband, but a possession. And possessions don't walk away. They are kept, controlled, owned. I smiled back at her that night, a smile she mistook for surrender. But it wasn't surrender, it was goodbye. Because what she didn't know was that I had been quietly preparing for this for years. That same night, as she slept in the comfort of her imagined power, I began the final steps of my plan. I logged into the investment accounts my grandfather had left me, the ones she always dismissed as your silly little hobby. She never knew their true worth. I liquidated a significant portion. Then I transferred only my last 3 paychecks out of our joint account, nothing more, nothing less. Every other dime stayed put, so there could be no accusation of theft. Every receipt, every pay stub, every transaction was documented and backed up in multiple secure places. I packed one duffel bag with clothes and essentials. Then I added a shoebox filled with the only things that truly mattered. My late father's watch, a few photographs of my mother, small pieces of sentiment no lawyer could put a price on. By 4 a.m., I had booked a one-way ticket to a country she had always scoffed at. Too rustic, she'd sneer. Nowhere decent to shop. Which, of course, made it perfect. Before leaving, I placed my car keys and my wedding ring neatly on the kitchen counter. No note, no explanation. She had already given me all the explanation I needed. Within 48 hours, chaos erupted. A friend of mine, Kyle, who worked airport security, emailed me. "Dude, you are in deep," he wrote. Victoria had stormed the international terminal. Hysterical, demanding they track me down. She claimed I was mentally unstable, that I had stolen all her money, trying to weaponize panic against me. She caused such a scene that airport police had to drag her away. But Kyle said her tears weren't those of a heartbroken wife, they were the tantrums of a queen who had just been dethroned. The next 18 months were brutal. Her father's high-powered legal team came at me with everything they had. I was buried in motions, accused of fraud, abuse, gambling addictions I never had. Victoria launched smear campaigns, slandering me to friends, business contacts, even calling my elderly father to spit venom about how I had driven her to illness. She weaponized every ounce of malice she had. But I had something she didn't expect: foresight. Years earlier, Victoria had blown tens of thousands on what she believed were original pieces of modern art. I had quietly hired a private appraiser. The verdict? Most of her precious collection was worthless, cheap forgeries she'd been scammed into buying. She never knew. During our final settlement negotiations, she fought tooth and nail to keep her art collection, which she claimed was worth $200,000. That's when my lawyer sent their team the appraisal report, along with a draft fraud complaint. Within 48 hours, every one of their claims against me was dropped. Just like that, her empire of canvas crumbled into ashes. The house eventually sold below value, thanks to her sabotage. But when the dust settled, the split was 70-30 in my favor. The final blow? She was held personally liable for a portion of my legal fees. Last week, I got an email from her. Just 6 bitter words: "You ruined my life. I hope you're happy." Now, I live in a small home on a cliff overlooking the ocean. The air is salt and freedom. Every sunrise reminds me that peace is worth more than any mansion, any status, any fraudulent piece of art. And the truth is, I didn't ruin her life. She did.